Please welcome back to the stage the director of Smugglers, Ryoo Seung-wan, and the stars Jung-ah, Park Jeong-min, and Go-min-si. I think they liked it. Congratulations to all of you on the film. Director Ryoo, I want to start with you. It's a delightful film. It's so much fun to watch, and these kinds of films about capers are some of the most entertaining films. In the West, we think of things like The Italian Job or Ocean's 11. I wonder if there were inspirations for you in wanting to tell the story of Smugglers.
이 영화에 영감을 준 것은 너무나 많습니다. 지금 언급하신 그 두 편의 영화를 포함해서 70년대의 그 홍콩의 무술 영화들 그리고 수많은 K-pop 무비들 그리고 70년대의 한국의 대중음악들 그리고 제가 어린 시절 봐왔던 이상한 옷을 입고 다니는 어떤 아저씨들 뭐 그런 모든 것들이 저에게 영감을 줬습니다.
So including those two films that you mentioned, there's a lot of inspirations for this film. Some of them is the 70s, the Hong Kong films, some of the 70s popular music in Korea, and including some of the weird men that I saw on the street in the 70s back then.
One of the remarkable elements in telling this story is the traditional women divers of South Korea. Which maybe not everyone knows about. Can you talk a little bit about that tradition in South Korea, and then also finding a cast who was willing to do this diving and to work underwater?
해녀라고 하는 직업은 그 전 세계에 그 몇 개 안 되는 아주 적은 국가에만 존재하고 있는 직업이고 특히 한국에서 유독 발달한 직업입니다.
It's a very rare job globally in the world. It's the deep sea diver, the female deep sea diver, and it's particularly developed very well in Korea.
사실 해녀의 역사는 굉장히 깊습니다. 한국에서는 수백 년 된 역사를 가지고 있는 직업이에요.
The history of Haenyeo is actually several hundred years old in Korea.
그래서 지금 근대 이 현대 국가인 한국의 이전 그 조선이라는 시기에 그 이 과거 중세 시기에는 그 왕이 그 자기들이 자신이 먹는 고급 그 해산물이 해녀들이 너무 힘들게 그 구한다는 걸 알고 그 자신이 먹는 그 음식을 더 이상 그 상에 올리지 말라고 했던 기록도 있습니다.
There was actually a record about so pre-Korea, so it's called Chosun, the country of Chosun. The king found out that all this extravagant seafood was being gathered by Haenyeo in a very difficult way, so he actually told them to stop doing that and put him on his for his meal.
지금 현재까지도 해녀들은 아주 활발히 활동을 하고 있고 저희 영화 현장에서도 항상 상주하면서 코치를 해줬습니다.
There's still Haenyeos in these days. They're still working to this day, and there were several of them on set that trying to give us advice during the filming.
해녀들은 아주 강하고 지혜롭고 그리고 경우에 따라서는 수심 20m가 넘는 바닷속까지 아무런 장비 없이 들어가서 자신과 가족들을 위해서 해산물을 채취하는 일을 하는 제가 볼 때는 마블의 히어로들보다도 더 뛰어난 능력을 가진 히어로라고 생각합니다.
I think they're more superheroes than Marvel characters, that they sacrifice themselves and they do this for their family. And they could deep dive almost 20 meters without any apparatus or any equipment, and they can deep dive and they catch this seafood for their family.
그 혹시라도 여기 마블 관계자가 있을 수도 있으니까 아주 그 능력 차이가 아주 많지는 않다라고.
Just in case there's some Marvel related people here, their powers are not that different.
Thank you. I want to ask you, Jung-ah, and also Go-min Si, about the training. What kind of experience did you have before you did this film in terms of working in water, and what was it like to do all of that work over, I'm sure, many weeks?
저 같은 경우에는 사실 촬영 전에는 수영을 아예 할 줄 모르는 상태였거든요.
Actually, I didn't even know how to swim before I start filming this movie.
그런데 이 영화를 너무 하고 싶다라는 욕심에 이제 덥석하겠다고 말씀을 드리고 뭐 하면 다 되겠지라는 생각을 했었어요. 그래서
But I had such strong desire to wanting to be part of this project, so I thought if I just commit to it, maybe I'll be able to pull it off.
네, 그래서 수중 훈련을 정말 몇 개월 동안 열심히 훈련을 받았고 또 촬영장에서도 내내 선생님들의 도움과 그리고 우리 동료들의 도움으로 결국은 해냈습니다.
So there are several months of actually underwater training that we've gone through, and there were teachers and the colleagues that we work with, and they were all helpful for me to get over this, and we did it together.
That's fantastic. Very impressive. And Min-si.
저도 수영을 아예 할 줄 몰랐었는데요.
I also didn't know how to swim before.
보셨다시피 옥분이가 마지막에 활약하는 그 한 장면을 위해서
But in order to show the last scene where the Madame Co throws herself into the water.
네, 그래서 저도 똑같이 안전상의 이유도 있고 그리고 그 한 장면을 잘 좀 해보고 싶어서 열심히 트레이닝을 받았던 기억이 있습니다. 근데 저는 다른 해녀 언니들에 비해서는 사실 수업 기간이 훨씬 더 적었지만 네, 열심히 하려고 했던 것 같습니다.
So I also went through the full training to be able to film that scene in a very safe way. So I didn't do as long as the Haenyeo actresses go through the training, but I still did. I tried my best to film that scene.
Thank you. And Jeong-min, I want to ask you a question about the tone of the film. It's a comedy. It's very light in many ways, and you've done many different kinds of roles over the years, drama, both in film and on the smaller screen. What was your director telling you, Director Ryoo telling you about the tone that he wanted you all to strike as actors compared to other kinds of acting that you have done?
뭐 간단하게 말씀을 드릴 수 있는데 장도리는 류승환 감독님을 따라했다고 보면 된다.
To simply put, I basically followed the director Ryoo.
It's not true. It's not true.
No, it's true. That's all.
I know you have played, quite serious dramatic roles. You played a rapper also as well. You have a real range as an actor, and I wonder how comfortable you are playing comedy, this kind of role.
사실 저는 이 영화를 이제 준비하기 시작할 때 장도리라는 역할이 그렇게 웃긴 역할이라고 생각을 하지 않았었습니다.
So as I was preparing this role, I did not think that this was a funny character.
예. 근데 앞서 말씀드렸던 것처럼 류승환 감독님을 따라하다 보니까 웃겨진 것 같아요.
I think as I mentioned before, I was just following the director's instructions, and I think she just became funny.
네, 재밌게 봐주셔서 감사합니다.
But I'm glad you guys enjoy the character.
We will open it up to you and your questions in a moment. Just one last thing I want to ask you, Director Ryoo, which is about the success that Smugglers has had. It's been one of the biggest hits in Korea this year. What do you see as the reasons for the success of this film with audiences in Korea?
한국에서 흥행한 이유는 아마도 지금 여기 영화를 보신 관객 여러분들이 그 답을 가장 잘 알고 있을 것 같습니다.
I think the reason why it did really well in the box office in Korea, it's probably the audience sitting here, they probably know the reason why.
그 톨스토이의 책의 그 문장을 빌어서 표현을 하자면 망한 영화는 수만 가지 이유가 있지만 잘된 영화는 비슷한 영화의 이유로 잘 되는 것 같아요.
As the Tolstoy says, there's lots of reason why the films don't do well, but the reasons why they do well is probably all similar.
결국은 제가 잘했기 때문에 그런 거 아닌가?
So it's probably because it's all because of me.
Love it.
I'm sorry. I'm not Hammer.
It's a great answer and the first Tolstoy reference we've had at the festival so far, so thank you. All right, we'll open it up to some of your questions and we'll start right here.
He's a student who's studying to be a director. So the basically question is that the actors actually auditioned and that's how they get their roles and that's how they get into the industry. Is there another pathway to get into the director, to become a director? His dream is to become a director.
저한테 지금 주어진 시간이 얼마나 있나요?
How much time do I have here?
우선 영화를 저는 스스로한테 한번 질문을 해보시는 것이 중요할 것 같은 질문이 두 가지가 있어요.
There are two questions I would like you to ask yourself.
내가 영화 감독이 되기 위해서 영화를 만들고 싶은 것인가, 영화를 만들고 싶어서 영화 감독이 되려는 것인가?
Do you want to be a director because you want to make films, or do you want to make films so that you can become a director?
영화를 만들고 싶어서 감독이 되시려고 한다라면,
If you want to make films, so you want to be a director,
당신은 지금 이 자리에서부터 영화를 만들 수 있습니다.
then you can just start making films right here and right now.
그리고 성공에 대한 것은 보장을 못 해요.
But there's no guarantee to be successful.
그런데 성공의 기준은 다 다르죠.
But also everybody has different standards of success.
저는 고등학교 때부터 영화를 만들기 시작했습니다.
I started making films when I was in high school.
그때는 스마트폰도 없었고 필름으로 찍어야 되는 때였어요.
So we didn't have smartphones, so we had to use film.
저는 어린 시절에 굉장히 가난했었고
And I grew up very poor.
카메라를 살 돈이 없었습니다. 카메라를 살 돈이 없었어요.
I didn't have money to buy camera.
그래서 저는 제가 15살에서 16살이 되는 2년 동안 점심을 굶어서 그 점심값을 모아서 카메라를 샀어요.
So I saved my lunch money since I was 15 years old until 16 years old in order to buy a camera with that money.
그때 만약에 점심을 먹었다면 지금보다 키가 조금 더 컸을 것입니다.
I guess if I have spent that money on my lunch, I would have been a little bit taller than I am right now.
그리고 그때는 제가 영화를 너무 만들고 싶어서 만들기 시작했는데 국내에 있는 모든 경쟁 영화제에 다 떨어지고 시나리오를 써도 모든 공모전에 다 떨어졌었어요.
So I just really wanted to make films, but wherever I entered my film for the festival or anywhere, like everything just they didn't accept mine.
토론토에서 제 영화를 소개하는 일이 있을 거라 제 인생에서 있을 거라는 상상은 아예 할 수가 없었습니다.
I've never dreamed of being able to be invited to the Toronto Film Festival.
하지만 계속 영화를 만들었죠.
But I continue to make film.
아마도 여기 토론토 영화제까지 와서 영화를 보시고 이런 질문을 하시는 분이라면 저의 30년 전, 40년 전에 저보다 훨씬 뛰어난 분일 거라고 생각합니다.
I guess if you are able to come here to the Toronto Film Festival to be able to watch my film, I think you're probably better than me 30, 40 years ago.
기대하건대 앞으로 몇 년 후에 언제가 될지 모르지만 저와 지금 질문하신 분의 그 위치가 바뀐 상태에서 만날 수 있기를 기대합니다.
I'm hoping that in a few years, I don't know when, but in the near future, that we will be able to swap this position so I can ask you that question.
Thank you for that very thoughtful answer. Let's move up. Actually, let's see if there's anyone up here
아까
who we cannot see. You want to add something?
장도리가 감독님 따라했다는 말 취소할게요.
I'm gonna cancel, retrieve my
멋있었어요.
answer, saying that I was just following him, because that was a cool answer that he just gave out.
Okay, is there anyone up here who's got a question? Okay, one moment, please. Is there some? Did I hear a question up here?
너무 잘 봤다고.
Thank you.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for that funky, wild experience of a movie. I was wondering, how do you get your actors to commit to such incredible stunt sequences? You seem to be trying to outdo Tom Cruise.
The question is, how do you get your actors to commit to such stunt sequences? You seem to be trying to outdo Tom Cruise.
일단은 배우들한테 제가 최대한 착한 사람이라는 것을 촬영 들어가기 전에 인지를 시키는 것이 중요합니다.
So it's the most important thing is to appeal myself to these actors that I'm a very nice person.
그래서 아주 작은 사연에도 막 안타까워하고 막 크게 웃고.
So even if it's a small thing they're going through, you just really sympathize with them, and if it's something small thing, you just really laugh out loud.
정말 끊임없는 가스라이팅.
Just gaslighting them, basically.
그래서 자신이 고통스러워하는 연기를 하고 있는 동안에도 이 고통은 진짜 고통이 아닐 것이다라고 믿게 하는 것.
So even though they're playing this role that they're just suffering, but they don't think that they're actually suffering.
자기가 물 속에 있으면서도 물 밖에 있는 사람들을 걱정하게 만드는 거.
And they're underwater acting, but they're worried about people out of the water.
사실 이런 것은 영화 학교에서도 잘 안 가르쳐 주는 겁니다.
You actually don't learn this kind of thing at the cinema school.
그리고 실제로 이 영화에는 굉장히 헌신적인 스턴트맨들의 노력이 있었어요.
And of course, there was these dedicated stunt people who was part of this film.
그 스턴트맨들과 배우들의 또 그 스턴트 플레이어와 배우들 간의 또 긴밀한 관계들을 맺는 것이 굉장히 중요하죠.
And it's very important to have these very close relationships between the actors and the stunt actors.
근데 캐스팅 단계에서 그런 헌신적인 연기를 해줄 수 있는 배우들을 함께 할 수 있는 그런 배우들을 끌어들이는 것이 가장 중요하다고 생각합니다.
I think it's the most important thing is during this casting process that I do pick these actors that I know they will be dedicated to the film.
Thank you. I think you'd be so fun to make a movie with, you know? You're hilarious, so thank you. All right, we're going to go to one of the very enthusiastic audience members over here, someone who had a question. I think it's you.
I have a question for Gong-min Shi. What was the scene that you enjoyed the most?
제가 나왔던 장면 아니면 전체 그냥 제가 나왔던 장면 중에서요.
The scene where she was actually in.
저는 이제 제가 막 울면서 아이고 오빠 내가 죽일 년이야 했던 그 장면이 정말 현장에서 연기할 때도 너무 짜릿했거든요.
The crying scene that where she's doing this, that was the most
네, 그래서
exciting part.
관객분들께서 실제로 웃어주시는 걸 볼 때마다 통했구나. 정말 너무 행복합니다. 늘 항상. 근데 오늘도 웃어주셔서 진심으로 감사드립니다.
I think that was a scene where I could hear all the audiences laughing together, and I think that's what is most exciting about.
감사합니다.
Thank you for your question. We are out of time, unfortunately, so I'm just going to ask you to please join me in thanking the incredible team from Smugglers. We'll start with Go-min Shi,
Thank
Park
you.
Jung-min, Jung-ah, and director Ryoo Seung-wan. Thank you so much.